welcome to this yoga class for postnatal recovery after a caesarean birth. So in this class, we're going to take it nice and gentle. Obviously, if anything doesn't feel good for your body, perhaps it pulls on your scar a little bit or it just doesn't feel right yet, please take it easy, listen to your body. I am not in your body, so whilst I'll be instructing poses that I've worked with clients in the studio who've had caesarean births, I can't be in your body feeling what you're feeling. So please, where possible, listen to yourself and take it nice and easy. So you wouldn't start this class until after your 6 to 8 week checkup. However, I think it's really important to note, just because you've had that checkup, just like a vaginal birth, doesn't mean you're ready to go, as the doctor often says. You probably still feel quite tender, maybe a little numb around that area. And whilst the external stitches have probably healed, inside you've got many layers that are still healing. So you need to go really carefully and gently and really take the time to rebuild your body. It can take 9 months to a year, sometimes even longer, to really restore and bring our bodies back to that pre-pregnancy strength and alignment and bring all those core internal muscles back to where they were. Remember, if you are breastfeeding, bone relaxin stays around in the body for about 9 months after pregnancy. If you breastfeed, it's longer. So just be aware that this is still allowing ligaments to open. So things aren't as supported and strong as they used to be. So again, go nice and gently. This particular class is a part of my brand new series on postpartum recovery. If you'd like to check out the whole series, I'll leave the link to that one below. All right, let's get into today's class. All right, so to start with, I really just want us to focus on being able to activate the belly muscles again and the pelvic floor. And after a caesarean birth, your pelvic floor probably has suffered some damage. So many emergency C-sections come after a prolonged period of labor already. You may have even gotten to the pushing stage and spent some time putting pressure in that area, so it will be affected. Just carrying your baby for 9 months will have put a lot of pressure in that area. So it's important to start getting that mind-body connection back again, because that's really all it is when it comes to the pelvic floor. It's linking up those neural pathways between our brain and the actual body part. So sit comfortably. It might be up on the knees like me, or you can sit cross-legged. And I want you to bring the hands onto the belly. So I want you to breathe in, and as you breathe in, I want you to breathe into the belly. So the low belly will expand, so will the side ribs, and then maybe a little bit into the top of the chest, but really focus on this lower part to start with. The pelvic floor stays relaxed. And then as you exhale, the side ribs gently release. So does the low belly. So that's moving the diaphragm up. And I want you to lift and engage those pelvic floor muscles in and up. Are you doing it? That's it. Lift them in and up. So they hang kind of like a hammock from the pelvis. And then as you inhale again, so you breathe into the belly and this pushes the diaphragm back down, extend out into the side ribs, relax that pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, let the ribs come in, let the belly draw back in, engage that pelvic floor, lift it in and up. So this might feel a little bit opposite to what you normally do. For some reason, we've gotten into this pattern of inhaling to suck in, when actually that makes no sense. When you inhale, it should expand out. And the same with the pelvic floor. We think inhale, lift up, when actually it should be working with the diaphragm. So when the diaphragm expands down, the pelvic floor releases, and then as you exhale, it draws in and up. So we're going to do a few more of those. I want you to keep your hands nice and low. So it may even be on that caesarean scar. Let's inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And with the hands gently pressing on your scar, I just want you to check in with how you're feeling about your body. So keep this breath pattern moving, breathing into that low belly, engaging the pelvic floor. Perhaps taking this time to notice how you feel about your birth and what happened. So it may not necessarily be negative. I know many women who have positive caesarean experiences. But just allow yourself to feel however you feel about this birth. The shoulders soften down away from the ears. And if you're feeling any negative emotions around your birth, any negative thoughts, I want you to see if you can acknowledge them in the heart and then breathe them away on the exhale. And slowly start to open the eyes up. We're going to come down onto the back. So use the arms to support you to come down. And come all the way down on the back. So you should be still using those arms for a fair while after any sort of birth so that we're not putting excess pressure on those abdominal muscles. So we're really focusing on strengthening and bringing them back to where they were before we ask them to do anything like a sit-up or any sort of core exercise. So from here, I just want you to notice where the pelvis sits and just gently rock back and forward. So you're starting to turn on these lower abdominal muscles, those really deep internal muscles as you rock back and forward. And then with the feet pressing into the ground, bring the hands onto the belly again. You might like to bring them nice and low onto that scar. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, engage the core, engage the pelvic floor, and slowly bring the right knee out to the side. Inhale as you bring the knee in and back up. And then exhale, opposite side. So the pelvic floor is engaged, the core is engaged. So there won't be much rocking through the hips. We're just starting to reconnect our mind and our body, really connect this lower support system around our hips that has been through so much. So stay working with the breath. We exhale as we lower down, which means that support is there as the leg moves away from the midline of the body. So it could be really challenging for you depending how soon after birth you're practicing this class, or it might not be feeling too challenging at all. It is important though to do these really early exercises because otherwise our bigger muscles take on the role of what the weaker internal muscles possibly aren't able to do. So let's do one more on each side. Exhale, release the knee down, pelvic floor and core is engaged. Inhale, draw it back in. Exhale. And inhale. So we're going to do some roll-ups now, and I want you to really focus on those glutes. So really squeezing and activating those muscles as we roll up. So if this doesn't feel good on your scar at all, just work with the pelvic tilt. So not coming all the way up. You'll still engage the glutes when you press into the feet and tilt the pelvis back towards you. And then inhale as you move forward and tilt the pelvis back again. So on the exhale, I want you to press the low back into the floor, engage the glutes, and start to slowly roll the hips up towards the sky. And then inhale as you come back down. And we'll do 3 more of these. So just working with your breath. So everything is engaged as you roll up. So engage the pelvic floor, that lower core, squeeze those glutes on, press into the heels, and then slowly roll back down. Two more. Last one. All right, so from this position, keeping that same breath and core and pelvic floor activation, we're just going to slide one heel out. So I want you to feel like the muscles around the pelvis are engaged. They are those deep internal muscles, the lower core muscles, and if you're really early postpartum, I know for me, I always found like, what lower belly muscles? I've got nothing there because that low part takes a lot of the pressure, especially in the later stages of pregnancy. So if it's feeling like I don't have that support at this point, that's okay. Just keep the heel quite shallow. Don't come all the way out. So once more, as you exhale, stabilize around that midsection, pelvic floor is engaged, the heel slides out. And then slowly slide it back in. So you can leave that foot on the ground so there's not too much pressure. So if you've got socks on, this will probably work a lot better. I'm not able to slide because I've got my mat there. So really trying to keep those hips stable. Exhale as you take the leg out. And inhale as you draw it back in. Exhale. Inhale. All right, and then from here we're going to come up into our tabletop. So rolling onto the side, using those arms to support you to come all the way back up. And so in your tabletop here, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, I want you to let your belly go. So even a year or so postpartum, my belly will still just hang lovely. So as you let the belly hang, inhale. And then as you exhale, engage those core muscles so that you can lift the belly up and in towards the spine. Inhale, breathe into the belly, let it all be soft, so pelvic floor included. And then exhale, engage, draw the belly in towards the spine, pelvic floor lifts in and up. So doing 3 more of these with your own breath rhythm. So at this stage of the recovery process, it probably feels more like brain yoga than anything else because you're trying to connect it all back up. When you've just had a baby and the brain is foggy, it can be really hard to do this. So you might take these poses off the mat and try and do them around your baby as well. So maybe if your baby's having a bit of tummy time, you do a few of these core activation poses that you can include in your day just so you're starting to reconnect those muscles. All right, and then slowly walk back so that you have a seat on the heels. So while that's a lot of work for the core and the pelvic floor, we're gonna give that a little bit of a break for the moment and do some stretching into the upper body. Because after birth, whichever way you birth, it's really common to be in this position. So pregnancy brings us forward and breastfeeding brings us forward. Even just looking down at our baby all day brings us into this position. But also when we have a wound there, I think we can be a little bit afraid to open up in this space. And again, if it doesn't feel good for your scar, please just leave it and work to the ability that you can. But if it does feel okay, we're just gonna do some really gentle cat-cows here. So not a full cat-cow, just once more, rocking the pelvis forward as you inhale. See if you can lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades behind you. And then exhale, roll the shoulders forward, tuck the pelvis under, look down towards the belly button. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you close. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then let the spine lift long, so lift the crown of the head towards the ceiling, draw the shoulder blades back and down, and really press into the ground with the legs. So it's like you're pressing the tops of the feet and the shins into the floor. And just take a look over the left shoulder. So you might twist quite a long way. If it's pulling in any area, just go really gently. So opening up through that heart. If it feels okay, you could bring the hand down behind you, open a little bit more. And then slowly come back. Let's find a twist in the opposite direction. And then come back to center. As you inhale, take the arms wide. And then wrap the right arm underneath the left. The palms find each other. Reach the fingertips up and drop the shoulders away from the ears. So it should be really nice across the top of those shoulders. And as we work with the breath here, we can come back to that pelvic floor awareness. So as you inhale, breathe into the belly, let the pelvic floor relax. And as you exhale, lift those muscles in and up. Let the belly and the ribs return. Inhale and relax. Exhale and engage. As you inhale, take the arms wide. This time the left arm comes under. Find the hands together, reach them up tall, and then drop the shoulders away. Come back to that pelvic floor and core awareness. And then release the hands down. So staying up in your high kneel, I just want you to reach one hand down the side and the other arm up and over. So we are starting to do a little bit of stretching, but it's not too much, especially if you practice with me throughout the rest of this postnatal series. We'll start to slowly start stretching back into that belly again. As you start to move towards those poses like cobra and eventually up dog, where the belly is stretched. But I know for many women, it takes a long time before that feels comfortable. So we're going to really just gently work up to it here. And then come to the other side. So in this class, really just feeling back into the body, starting to trust the body again, which after a cesarean, I know can be hard. I know a lot of women I've spoken to feel like they kind of lost trust in what their body could do. They feel like their body failed them, that they didn't have the birth they wanted, which is not true for every woman who has a cesarean. Some I know have beautiful experiences, but for some I know they really fight with the experience for a long time afterwards. Come sit back up. If you have a bolster, you can come behind you. I'm just going to bring the hands into it. If you don't have a bolster, you could bring the hands onto blocks, onto cushions, or even just onto the floor behind you if it feels okay. I want you to press into the heels of the hands, press into the legs, open the heart up towards the ceiling. If it feels good, the head and neck might rest behind you. And then slowly tuck the chin back to chest. And we come back to that little seated cat-cow. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you close. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you close. Inhale. And exhale. All right, come and take a seat. So if you're more comfortable up on the bolster, you're welcome to sit on it. Otherwise, just cross the legs. And I want you to bring those hands onto that scar. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. Sit tall in the spine, so feel the sit bones pressing into the floor beneath you. And I want you to hold this scar beneath your hands. This beautiful place where your baby entered this world for the first time. Perhaps you feel a warmth underneath the hands. And allow yourself to send some love to this space. This part of you that sacrificed itself to open up to your baby coming into this world. It now needs your love in order to heal, your care, your respect. It needs you to get up close and personal and not be afraid of the scar. Touch it, massage it. Feel proud of this scar, rather than feeling sad, perhaps, that the birth didn't go exactly as you wanted. Allow yourself to trust in the fact that you did everything you could do to birth your baby. And your birth turned out exactly as it was meant to. Not always as we want it to, but exactly as it was meant to. Thank your body for getting your baby here safe and sound. And allow your heart to swell with the pride and love you feel for your baby. See if you can send some of that same pride and love here to your belly, to this scar. Your body produced this baby, and then it birthed your baby. Allow yourself to feel proud of how it went, proud of the strength you showed. And allow yourself to forgive any what-ifs that might still be rolling around in your thoughts. When you're ready to slowly flutter the eyes open, return the hands palm up towards the sky. And take a few shoulder rolls, just waking the body back up gently. And then we bring the hands to heart. Take a moment here just to honor how amazing your body is. For creating your baby, for birthing your baby. And now for having the ability to recover well. It is slow, it is not always the sexiest practice, But if you take the time to rebuild slowly and carefully, then you will find that you are so much stronger in a year's time. And as you probably already know from the birth you've experienced, you already are so much stronger than you could ever have imagined. Thank you for sharing your practice with me, and namaste. Thanks again for practicing with me. If you would like to continue this postnatal recovery, I have a postnatal series, so I'll leave the link below. You can either buy it as a separate product, or all the videos are in my online yoga circle, so you can go and join up over there and try them out. So within this postnatal series, we focus on all the different areas of the body and the mindset that comes along with being a new mum. So there are classes in the series for the pelvic floor, the core, really opening up the heart and the shoulders, because this gets really compressed in those early days with a new babe. We'll be looking at the overwhelm and depletion that comes with being a new mum, some baby wearing practices. Everything is in there. It's a really great series if you're wanting to know how to get back into your body, into your strength, before you start stronger, more high intense exercises that can actually cause damage, further damage to the pelvic floor if you don't repair that area properly in the first place. So I hope to practice with you over there. Namaste.